As the sun broke through the curtains of our tiny apartment, illuminating the room with its warm, golden rays, I turned to see her sleeping peacefully beside me. Her chest rose and fell rhythmically with each breath, and a gentle smile played on her lips, even in her slumber. I couldn't help but feel a surge of affection for her as I watched her sleep, her hair splayed across the pillow like a halo. It was a Saturday morning, and the world outside seemed to beckon us with promises of adventure and excitement. With a sudden burst of determination, I decided that today would be the day we finally escaped the confines of our mundane routine and ventured into the great unknown. "Hey," I whispered, gently shaking her shoulder. "Wake up, sleepyhead. I have an idea." Her eyes fluttered open, and she blinked owlishly up at me, still groggy from sleep. "What time is it?" she murmured, rubbing her eyes. "It's time for an adventure," I declared, a mischievous grin spreading across my face. "How about we go for a drive? Just you, me, and the open road." She perked up at the suggestion, her eyes brightening with excitement. "That sounds amazing. Where are we going?" I shrugged, feeling a surge of spontaneity coursing through my veins. "I don't know. Let's just see where the road takes us." And with that, we quickly got ready, throwing some snacks and a blanket into the back of my old, reliable car before setting off into the great unknown. The miles flew by in a blur of scenic landscapes and endless possibilities as we cruised along the winding roads, the wind tousling our hair and the sun warming our skin. We laughed and talked, lost in our own little world as we left the worries of everyday life far behind us. Eventually, as the sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting a golden glow over the horizon, we found ourselves surrounded by dense forests and towering trees. The air was alive with the chirping of birds and the rustling of leaves, and a sense of tranquility settled over us like a warm embrace. "Let's stop here," she suggested, pointing to a dirt road that disappeared into the depths of the forest. "I want to explore." I glanced at her, a spark of excitement igniting in my chest at the prospect of adventure. "Sounds perfect." We parked the car by the side of the road and set off into the forest, hand in hand, our footsteps crunching softly on the fallen leaves. The air was cool and refreshing, and the scent of pine needles filled my lungs as we ventured deeper into the unknown. After what felt like hours of wandering aimlessly through the forest, we stumbled upon a clearing bathed in sunlight. In the center of the clearing lay a pristine lake, its surface shimmering like liquid silver in the dappled light. "It's beautiful," she breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. I nodded in agreement, unable to tear my gaze away from the tranquil scene before us. Without a second thought, we made our way down to the water's edge, the soft sand squishing between our toes. But as we approached the lake, a strange feeling of unease washed over me, sending a shiver down my spine. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched, that something was lurking just beneath the surface, waiting to pounce. And then, as if on cue, it happened. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of movement in the water, something dark and sinuous slicing through the surface with alarming speed. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest as I watched in horror as a strange creature emerged from the depths. It was like nothing I had ever seen before, a bizarre amalgamation of different animal parts stitched together into a grotesque whole. Its body was long and serpentine, covered in scales that gleamed in the sunlight, while its head resembled that of a wolf, complete with sharp, gleaming teeth. I felt her grip tighten on my hand, her eyes wide with fear as the creature fixed us with its piercing gaze. For a moment we stood there, rooted to the spot, unsure of what to do. And then, Without warning, the creature lunged forward, its jaws snapping shut just inches from my face. I stumbled backward, pulling her with me as we scrambled to get away from the monstrous creature. We ran as fast as we could, the sounds of the creature's enraged hisses echoing in our ears as we fled through the forest. Adrenaline coursed through my veins, lending me strength as we pushed ourselves to the brink of exhaustion. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, we burst out of the forest and into the safety of the open road. We didn't stop running until we reached the car, our chests heaving with exertion and our hearts pounding in our ears. We sat in stunned silence for what felt like hours, the events of the day replaying over and over in my mind like a broken record. I couldn't believe what we had witnessed, couldn't wrap my head around the fact that such a creature existed in the world. What was that thing she whispered, her voice trembling with fear? I shook my head, at a loss for words. I don't know, I admitted, but whatever it was, I never want to encounter it again. And with that, we drove home in silence, the memory of our encounter hanging heavy in the air like a dark cloud. From that day on, we never spoke of what had happened in the forest, choosing instead to bury the memory deep within the recesses of our minds. The creature in the water was like something out of a nightmare, its appearance sending chills down my spine and causing my heart to race with fear. As it emerged from the depths of the lake, I could see that its body was long and sinuous, resembling that of a giant serpent. Slick, dark scales covered its entire form, glistening in the sunlight as it moved with a disturbing grace through the water. But it was its head that truly filled me with dread. Resembling that of a wolf, with pointed ears and sharp, gleaming teeth, it seemed to exude an aura of primal menace. Its eyes, cold and calculating, fixed us with a predatory gaze as it swam towards us, the water churning in its wake. As it drew closer, I could see that its mouth was filled with row upon row of razor-sharp teeth, each one capable of tearing through flesh with ease. Its breath came in low, guttural growls that reverberated through the air, sending shivers down my spine. I could feel the panic rising within me as the creature closed the distance between us, its intentions clear. Without a second thought, I grabbed her hand and pulled her away, the adrenaline coursing through my veins, lending me strength as we fled from the monstrous creature. Even now, as I sit here recounting the events of that day, the image of the creature's malevolent gaze is seared into my memory, a constant reminder of the dangers that lurk just beyond the safety of our everyday lives.